Hey everyone, welcome back to the Children of Our Lady podcast, brought to you by the Catholic Family Podcast. My name is Thomas, and I thank you all for being here today. While I'm sure some of you noticed the old intro music, I thought it would be nice to use the old music, considering that on today's episode I wanted to do things a little bit differently. I thought since today is the Feast of All Souls Day, and First Saturday, and obviously being Saturday, the day I usually upload episodes, among other reasons, I thought it would be good to revisit an old reading here on the show, one that we read earlier on in the Glories of Mary, and read about a topic that's very fitting for today's feast day, about how Our Lady comforts and succors her clients in Purgatory. I do plan for next week to be back to our normal routine going through the Fairest Flower of Paradise and the Secret of the Rosary, but for today we're going to take a listen to this older reading and just leave it at that. I'm not going to come back for any more commentary, but I hope this reading serves as some good reminders for us as we go through this day, All Souls Day, praying for the departed members of our families, our parishes, and the holy souls in Purgatory in general. One thing I did want to say before we move into the reading, believe me, I have not forgotten about the series on the 15 Mysteries of the Rosary. It is actually something that I'm almost done with the first mystery, but every time I told you all a timeline on its completion was actually before I really started putting pen to paper and started working. And after I begun, I realized that this is something that required more attention and a little bit more time. And of course, I haven't been perfect in giving forth my effort. There's no doubt about that. And since this undertaking requires a lot more of my own personal writing, not so much reading from another book, a step that I'm going to have to take, a step that I think is right to take, is to submit my work to some of the priests that I know, who can read through it, review some of the things that I wrote down, the things I put together, and give me their judgment before I bring it to any sort of public stage. So hopefully here in the very near future I'll have the first episode of that series, and then after that be able to create them with greater frequency, because I think it would be really nice to match up those specials with the feast days that occur throughout the liturgical year. For example, with Christmas coming up, I think it would be really great to have that episode covering the third mystery of the Rosary, the Nativity of our Lord, fall right around that time of Christmas. Hopefully I can make some of these specials correspond with the time that we celebrate that exact feast day throughout the liturgical year. But yes, I just wanted you all to know that I have not forgotten about this undertaking, but I do want to take this time to ask for your prayers as I continue to do this work. Again, I know I certainly haven't given perfect effort, far from it. But I don't think it's a secret. Any efforts made to try and spread devotion to Our Lady, spread devotion to the Rosary, is something that the devil's going to work really hard to try and thwart, to try to make difficult. So I do ask you all for your prayers. But again, for today, we're going to go ahead and take a listen to this reading from the Glories of Mary about how Our Lady succors her clients in Purgatory, and wrap up our episode from there. So with that, I hope everyone had a great day yesterday for the Feast of All Saints, that we have a good day today here on the Feast of All Souls Day, and that we have a good month of November. And lastly, of course, continue to pray for our country and for our world, as this next week is about to be a very important one. So I thank you all for listening to this episode of the Children of Our Lady podcast, brought to you by the Catholic Family Podcast. God bless you all, and Mary keep you. Chapter 8, Section 2. Mary succors her clients in Purgatory. Fortunate indeed are the clients of this most compassionate mother, for not only does she succor them in this world, but even in Purgatory they are helped and comforted by her protection. And as in that prison poor souls are in the greatest need of assistance, since in their torments they cannot help themselves, our Mother of Mercy does proportionately more to relieve them. St. Bernardine of Siena says that in that prison, where souls which are spouses of Jesus Christ are detained, Mary has a certain dominion and plenitude of power, not only to relieve them, but even to deliver them from their pains. And first, with respect to the relief she gives, the same saint, in applying those words of Ecclesiasticus, "I have walked in the waves of the sea," adds that it is by visiting and relieving the necessities and torments of her clients, who are her children. He then says that the pains of Purgatory are called waves, because they are transitory, unlike the pains of hell, which never end, and they are called waves of the sea, because they are so bitter. The clients of Mary, thus suffering, are often visited and relieved by her. See, therefore, says Noverinus, of what consequence it is to be the servant of this good lady, for her servants she never forgets when they are suffering in those flames. For though Mary relieves all suffering souls in Purgatory, yet she always obtains far greater indulgence and relief for her own clients. The Divine Mother once addressed these words to St. Bridget: "I am the mother of all souls in purgatory, for all the pains that they have deserved for their sins are every hour, as long as they remain there, in some way mitigated by my prayers." The compassionate mother even condescends to go herself occasionally into that holy prison, to visit and comfort her suffering children. St. Bonaventure, applying to Mary the words of Ecclesiasticus, "I have penetrated into the bottom of the deep," says, "The deep, that is, purgatory, to relieve by my presence the holy souls detained there." "Oh, how courteous and benign is the most blessed Virgin," says St. Vincent Ferrer, "to those who suffer in purgatory. Through her they constantly receive comfort and refreshment." And what other consolation have they in their sufferings than Mary, and the relief they receive from this Mother of Mercy? St. Bridget once heard Jesus say to his Holy Mother, "Thou art my mother, the mother of mercy, and the consolation of souls in purgatory." The Blessed Virgin herself told the saint that as a poor sick person, bedridden, suffering, and abandoned, is relieved by words of encouragement and consolation, so are the souls in purgatory consoled and relieved by only hearing her name. The mere name of Mary, that name of hope and salvation, and which is frequently invoked by her beloved children in their prison, is a great source of comfort to them. For, says Novarinus, that loving mother no sooner hears them call upon her than she offers her prayers to God, and these prayers, as a heavenly dew, immediately refresh them in their burning pains. Mary not only consoles and relieves her clients in purgatory, but she delivers them by her prayers. Gerson says that on the day of her assumption into heaven, purgatory was entirely emptied. Novarinus confirms this, saying that it is maintained by many grave authors that when Mary was going to heaven, she asked as a favor from her Son to take all the souls then in purgatory with her. And from that time forward, says Gerson, Mary had the privilege of delivering her servants. St. Bernardine of Siena also positively asserts that the Blessed Virgin has the power of delivering souls from purgatory, but particularly those of her clients, by her prayers and by applying her merits for them. Novarinus says that by the merits of Mary not only are the pains of those souls lessened, but the time of their sufferings is shortened through her intercession. She has only to ask and all is done. St. Peter Damian relates that a lady named Marozia appeared after her death to her godmother, and told her that on the feast of the Assumption, she, together with a multitude exceeding the population of Rome, had been delivered by Mary from purgatory. Denis the Carthusian says that on the feasts of the Nativity and Resurrection of Jesus Christ, Mary does the same thing, for on those days, accompanied by choirs of angels, she visits that prison and delivers very many souls from their torments. Novarinus says that he can easily believe that on all her own solemn feasts she delivers many souls from their sufferings. The promise made by Our Blessed Lady to Pope John the 22nd is well known. She appeared to him and ordered him to make known to all that on the Saturday after their death she would deliver from purgatory all who wore the Carmelite scapular. This, as Father Crasset relates, was proclaimed by the same pontiff in a bull, which was afterwards confirmed by Alexander V, Clement VII, Pius V, Gregory XIII, and Paul V. And this latter, in a bull of the year 1612, says that Christian people may piously believe that the Blessed Virgin will help them after death by her continual intercession, her merits, and special protection, and that on Saturdays, the day consecrated by the Church to her, she will in a more particular manner help the souls of the brethren of the confraternity of Our Blessed Lady of Mount Carmel, who have departed this life in a state of grace, provided they have worn the habit, observed the chastity of their state, and recited her office, or, if they could not recite it, if they have observed the fasts of the Church, and abstained from meat on all Wednesdays except Christmas Day. In the solemn office of Our Blessed Lady of Mount Carmel, we read that it is piously believed that the Blessed Virgin comforts the brethren of this confraternity in purgatory with maternal love, and that by her intercession she soon delivers them, and takes them to heaven. Why should we not hope for the same graces and favors if we are devout clients of this good mother? And if we serve her with more special love, why can we not hope to go to heaven immediately after death, without even going to purgatory? This really took place in the case of Blessed Godfrey, to whom Mary sent the following message, by Brother Abando. "Tell Brother Godfrey to endeavor to advance rapidly in virtue, and thus he will belong to my Son and to me, and when his soul departs, I will not allow it to go to purgatory, but will take it and offer it to my Son. And if we wish to relieve the holy souls in purgatory, let us do so by imploring the aid of Our Blessed Lady in all our prayers, and especially by offering the rosary for them, as that relieves them greatly, as we shall see in the following example. Example. Father Eusebius Nirenberg says that in a city of Aragon there was a beautiful young lady of noble birth named Alexandra, who was courted by two young men. Out of jealousy, they one day fought and both were killed. Their enraged relatives considered the young lady as the cause of this sad event, murdered her, cut off her head, and threw it into a well. Some days afterwards, St. Dominic, passing by the spot and inspired by God, went to the well and cried out, "Alexandra, come forth." In an instant, the head of the murdered woman came up and remained on the edge of the well, and entreated the saint to hear her confession. The saint did so, and in the presence of an immense concourse of people, drawn there by the wonderful event, gave her communion. He then commanded her to say for what reason she had received so great a grace. Alexandra replied that when her head was cut off, she was in mortal sin, but that on account of the rosary she was in the habit of saying in her honor, the Most Blessed Virgin had kept her alive. The animated head remained for 2 days on the edge of the well, so as to be seen by all, and after that the soul went to purgatory. A fortnight afterwards, Alexandra appeared beautiful and shining like a star to St. Dominic, and said that the rosary recited for the souls in purgatory is one of the greatest reliefs that they meet with in their torments, and that as soon as ever they get to heaven, they pray earnestly for those who have performed this devotion for them. Hardly has she said this, when St. Dominic saw her happy soul ascend with the greatest joy to the kingdom of the blessed. Prayer. O Queen of heaven and earth, O Mother of the Lord of the world, O Mary, of all creatures the greatest, the most exalted, and the most amiable. It is true that there are many in this world who neither know thee nor love thee, but in heaven there are many millions of angels and blessed spirits who love and praise thee continually. Even in this world, how many happy souls are there not who burn with thy love, and live enamored of thy goodness? O that I could also love thee, O Lady worthy of all love! O that I could always remember to serve thee, to praise thee, to honor thee, and engage all to love thee! Thou hast attracted the love of God, whom by thy beauty thou hast, so to say, torn from the bosom of his eternal Father, and engaged to become man and be thy Son. And shall I, a poor worm of the earth, not be enamored of thee? No, my most sweet mother, I also will love thee much, and will do all that I can to make others love thee also. Accept then, O Mary, the desire that I have to love thee, and help me to execute it. I know how favorably thy lovers are looked upon by God. He, after his own glory, desires nothing more than thine, and to see thee honored and loved by all. From thee, O Lady, do I expect all, through thee the remission of my sins, through thee perseverance. Thou must assist me at death, and deliver me from purgatory, and finally, thou must lead me to heaven. All this thy lovers hope from thee, and are not deceived. I, who love thee with so much affection, and above all other things after God, hope for the same favors.